Hello friends, I'm Jennifer Hirsch. I'm a chirology and palmistry practitioner and teacher based in Johannesburg. And today I'm going to share with you about a topic that I get asked about a lot, and that is what exactly is the difference between chirology and palmistry. Before I start talking about the differences between chirology and palmistry, I must just mention that the two are inextricably interwoven. Now, that being said, the first difference is basically the system of interpretation of the hands. So in traditional palmistry, we look at the planetary systems drawn from astrology. We're looking at the celestial bodies, the sun, the moon, and the various planets. And the symbolism that is associated with those gets mapped over onto the hand and from there onto the person. So we might talk about a Venusian person or a Marsian person or a person with a lot of Mars influence in their lives and so on. Now, in chirology, the system is based on the 5 elements of earth, water, fire, air, and chi. Actually, chi is ether, but I like to play with the words chi because it links in with chirology. And it's so inextricable, again, from the whole of chirology because the chi principle is the God principle. And I'll definitely be sharing more about that in due course. So those are the differences in interpretation. That's the first major difference. The second major difference is that in traditional palmistry, there's a lot more emphasis on divination and intuition. The psychic abilities of the palm reader are well known or believed in often, or not, depending on your perspective. In chirology, there's a very specific counseling and coaching model. It's called the 5 realms. And again, I'll be sharing a lot about the 5 realms as we progress. But the coaching and counseling model is a way that we actually support people with what's going on in their lives in the current time. Which brings us now to the third difference, which is, as I've just mentioned, chirology is concerned with the current time rather than the past, present, and future that is so much emphasized in traditional palmistry. So we make a distinction between the chronological way of reading hands, which is the old palmistic way, and the qualitative way of reading hands, which has to do with current time experience. So if you think about the famous analogy of the iceberg, of what's above the water and what's below the water, that is what a chirologist is more concerned with in terms of how to support the person with everything that is happening but in current time. Then the fourth difference has to do with the lines and the mounts. The mounts are the fleshy protuberances that we see over the palmar surface, being very much the focus in traditional palmistry. Whereas in chirology, there's a lot of focus on the fingerprints, the glyph patterns. I call them glyph patterns. It's actually a shortened word of the word dermatoglyphic, which is skin ridge pattern. And in the old years, we only thought of our fingerprints as having to do with our actual identity. But nowadays, there's research being done that they show more than just your identity. They actually show character traits and qualities. And again, much more on that later. And then the fifth big difference is that the old palmistry, fascinatingly to me, doesn't mention touch. You open any old palmistry book, even up to the 50s and 60s, and there's not a single mention of how to hold hands, whether to hold hands, when to hold hands. And in chirology, I really promote the holding of the hands. You know, it's so powerful when you plug into each other through that energy connection, and there comes this kind of circuit of energy. And people start crying immediately sometimes when you take their hands. It's as if they're just so touched by the touch. And so that is one very key difference. Touch is very important in chirology. Now, if you like what I've said and shared and you'd like to know more, please tell me below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Any questions, bring it on. I'm so welcoming of your questions. I'd love to answer all of them in subsequent videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.